There is a bridge in Scotland that has been taking dogs for 70 years. Not occasionally. Not by accident. Deliberately. Repeatedly. Always from the same spot. Always on clear sunny days. Always the same type of dog, and always, without a single warning their owners could see coming. 300 dogs have gone over that parapet. More than 50 never came home. And the ones that survived, came back for more. This is Overtoun Bridge. And nobody has ever fully explained what happens here. But someone might have. Her name was Lady Overtoun. And she has been dead for over a century. The year is 1859. Glasgow is the industrial heart of the British Empire. Coal smoke. River noise. A city choking on its own success. And James White, one of the wealthiest industrialists in Scotland, wants out. He purchases an estate in the hills above Dumbarton. Wild. Remote. Ancient trees stretching in every direction. A deep stone gorge cuts through the land with the sound of dark water running far below. He builds a house here, a Scots baronial mansion of turrets and towers and grey granite walls, a fortress of wealth and silence above the industrial chaos below. His son, John Campbell White, Lord Overtoun, inherits the estate. In 1895, he adds a bridge. 60 feet long. 50 feet above the gorge. Sandstone. Gothic arches. Castellated parapets on either side. Beautiful. Permanent. Proud. Lord Overtoun marries. The estate becomes a world, private, manicured, and sealed from the outside. Lady Overtoun walks this bridge, tends these grounds, lives within these stone walls. And then, she loses everything. Lord Overtoun dies. The estate passes on. Lady Overtoun, widowed, grieving, and broken, is left behind in a house that was never meant to exist without him. She walks the grounds alone. She crosses the bridge alone. She stands at the parapet and looks down into the gorge below. Local people begin to talk. They say she never truly left. They say on certain evenings, when the mist comes down through the trees and the light falls at a certain angle, you can see her, a white figure, standing at the right-hand parapet, looking down into the gorge. Still grieving. Still waiting. The White Lady of Overtoun. And they say the dogs can see her. They say that is why they run to that parapet. That is why they leap without hesitation. That something is standing there, something only they can perceive, calling them over the edge. For decades this was a local story. A ghost story, the kind told in pubs and whispered to tourists. Something to give the old bridge atmosphere on a foggy evening. And then the bodies started appearing. The first documented incidents emerged in the 1950s. A dog walking calmly across the bridge. No warning. No distress. And then, a sudden bolt toward the right-hand parapet. A leap. A fall of 50 feet into the gorge below. The owners were devastated. The police were baffled. And then it happened again. And again. And again. Always the same parapet. Always the right-hand side. Always the last two sections before the end of the bridge. Always on clear dry days when the sun was out and the air was still. Always long-nosed hunting breeds, Labradors, Collies, Golden Retrievers, Spaniels, dogs bred to follow their instincts without question. By the time investigators arrived, 300 jumps had been recorded. 50 dogs had died. And the incident showed absolutely no signs of stopping. Kenneth Meikle arrived at Overtoun Bridge in 2004 with his family and his golden retriever. A normal walk. A beautiful day. The kind of afternoon that makes Scotland look like a painting. His dog was walking calmly at his side. And then in a single instant, without any warning, Kenneth could see, hear, or smell, his dog bolted. Hard. Fast. Directly toward the right-hand parapet. And went over. Meikle described what happened next as the worst moment of his life. Standing at a parapet 50 feet above a rocky gorge. Looking down. Not knowing if his dog was alive. The silence after a fall. That specific silence. The dog survived. And here's the detail that investigators found impossible to ignore. When they brought the dog back to safety, back onto the bridge, it tried to go back to the same parapet. Whatever had called it over the edge was still there. Still calling. Still impossible to resist. In 2005, it happened 5 more times. 5 different dogs. 5 different families. Same bridge. Same parapet. Same clear sunny afternoon. National newspapers ran the story. International media picked it up. And the question went around the world. Why is this bridge killing dogs? Author Paul Owen spent 11 years trying to answer that question. 11 years visiting this bridge, interviewing witnesses, researching the history of the estate, reading everything written about Lady Overtoun and the White Lady legend. And at the end of 11 years he reached his conclusion. There is a presence on this bridge. He could not prove it scientifically, he knew that. But 11 years of experience at this location left him certain. Something inhabits this bridge. Something the dogs respond to. Something that stands at the right-hand parapet and draws them toward the edge. His book, The Baron of Rainbow Bridge, documents everything he found. And the scientists arrived. Canine psychologist David Sands came to Overtoun Bridge with equipment and a methodology and a determination to find a rational answer. He stood on the bridge. He studied the architecture. He examined the gorge. He brought dogs and watched them. And he found something. The stone parapets of Overtoun Bridge rise above dog eye level. From a human perspective standing at the parapet, the drop is obvious, 50 feet of open air and then rock and water below. But Sands got down to dog level. He looked at the parapet from 18 inches off the ground, from where a Labrador or a Collie actually sees the world. And from that height the drop disappears completely. The parapet wall simply ends. And beyond it, the tops of trees. Suggesting continued ground. Suggesting that the other side of that wall is solid and safe. The dog cannot see the fall. To the dog there is no danger. To the dog there is only whatever is calling from below. Beneath Overtoun Bridge in the deep gorge cut by Overtoun Burn, there are animals. Mice. Squirrels. And mink. American mink, brought to Scotland in the 1930s for fur farming and escaped into the wild, who had made the rocky waterway beneath this bridge their home. Mink produce a scent. A powerful biological signal. To a human nose, it is strong. To a dog nose, it is overwhelming. It's every hunting instinct in a dog's entire biological history firing simultaneously. Sands brought scent canisters to the bridge. Dog after dog showed their strongest response to the mink scent. The correlation is exact.